Hello, this is Dave at cartitles.com. If you have a lost car title, what is the best way to replace that car title? First of all, the key to doing this is making sure that the method is done legally. There are many examples where we are approached by clients that have a car title problem, and the reason for the problem is they replaced their title in the past using a legal or improper method. Now they're back to square one. They've spent a lot of time, they spent a lot of money, and their car title they have is no good, or it's been revoked by the DMV. So how to do it legally boils down to a few facts, and as you talk to us, you're going to find that most of the important information we can figure out in the first couple minutes. First of all, was the last title in your name? Whether it was or not, it still is possible, but knowing that will help determine the path. How long has it been since that car was last titled? How old is the records for that vehicle? In different states and different scenarios, records are purged on a regular basis, so the prior records may not be available. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, but knowing how old that last title history on the vehicle is important. Are you at the same address where you were when you acquired the vehicle? That may be helpful in some cases. If it's not, then that prior address, knowing what it was, will also be a factor. How many owners has there been since the vehicle was last titled? For example, if it was sold from the last title owner to you directly, that may be a different scenario and a different process than if there were several owners in between, each of which just signed over a blank title or a title that was never registered. Knowing that information is helpful. And if you don't know, we can certainly research that and investigate that for you. Are any of the owners deceased on the property? Deceased owners have a little bit different process to go through, and that's something that is important to know. For example, if there's co-owners on a car, having a co-owner sometimes may be helpful on a vehicle. Sometimes it may also require more documentation, so knowing if there's co-owners is important. A really critical point is to know if there's any liens on the vehicle. If a bank had a loan on a car, if a mechanic had a lien on a car, that may be something that needs to be dealt with in the title recovery process. Again, you want to make this legal. Are there ways to gloss over this? Sure. There's probably providers out there that will gloss right over and not take into account lien holders, co-owners, and what happens is later on, as you have that title, somebody can pop up and say, hey, I have a lien against a car, I want it back. Or I'm a co-owner, I want my share. Dealing with this up front is the best way to do it. It's not going to cost any more money. It's going to make sure that your ownership is a clear title, a clean title that you don't have to defend later. Seeing what kind of positive transfer documents you might have, if you have a bill of sale, if you have some type of debt arrangement that transferred the car to you, that's also helpful to document all that. Again, making sure this process is done legally is going to be in your best interest to make sure the title you receive is something that you can depend on, you can count on when you sell it. You're not going to have any liability that you collected money on a fraudulent title. You want to make sure your title is clean and clear and not have any accountability for you down the road if you decide to sell it, or even if you get a loan on it, that your lien holder is not going to discover these same things. If you have more questions about recovering a lost title for a vehicle, you can reach us at our website, cartitles.com, and we'd be glad to help.